Don't get kicked in the face. How to stand up in a fight? Keep watching. So you've ended up on the ground, he's pushed you, he's ambushed you, but somehow you've ended up flat on your back. The last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you've got your head by his feet, because he can stamp on your head. So in an ideal world, you always want to make sure that you can rotate, guide your body, but somehow make sure that your head is far away from his feet, and that way you can get your legs and your hands up and protect yourself as much as you can. And if you notice, from this position, I'm going to try and sit up. Now here's a common mistake. Most of the time when people sit up, they tend to sit up like this. And that's where they go wrong. If you sit up like this, he's going to punch you, knee me, or worse, push you back down to the ground. So every time I sit up, I'm using my stomach to sit up, and it's much easier for him to push me and force me back down to the ground. If you're a lady, it's not a great thing to do because you need a good base, a good point of stability. So what we often get guys to do is to turn onto their side. If you turn onto your side by scooping your hip, come up onto your elbow and then onto your hands, you've got a sideways posture. So now if someone pushes down into you, push, you've got a good solid position. Just keep pushing for me just for a second. You've got a good solid position. So even if I put my arm up, that illustrates that the pressure's going through my left arm, which is this arm here, all the way down into my right arm. So it's very difficult for the person to push me flat on my back again, where I'm in a vulnerable position. And the last point you need to make and pay attention to is the base position, the triangular position I take with my legs. This allows me to have a good solid base. So from here, if someone's trying to push me or get me flat on my back, it's really difficult, but very easy for me to actually get back up and get to a position where I can actually fight and defend myself. Of course, in the real world, nothing goes to plan. The guy's going to move around, he's going to move, kick, punch, he's not just going to stand over you. So when he moves, you've got to create a shield. And what I refer to a shield is by bringing my leg and my hand up. So my leg and my hand up protects me, and it gives me that protection. Plus with the base that we created earlier, I've now got a good stable position. Now the key thing is to stand up. And you've got to stand up. You've got to find the opportunity, but you stand up when the opportunity is there. You take advantage of the space. So when my partner moves, okay, essentially I'm moving as well. So if he's circling this way, I'm going to circle as well. If he circles this way, because it's my potentially the weaker, vulnerable side, I'm going to switch and roll to keep and create a shield. So if he's kicking around, I've got this basis to be able to defend myself. So right, just kick. So the kick comes in, I can protect myself because I create a shield. If a stamp comes in, I can protect myself because I've got a shield. But I don't just stand up for the sake of it. I pick the moment based on kicking out. So I might kick out, and if I kick out, I kick to his knee or I kick to his groin. But I create the space and I use that to stand exactly how we did earlier into a position where I'm actually ready to fight back. So when I stand up, I want to try to make sure that I keep my head and my back in a straight upright position. So to do that, what I essentially do is lift my bottom off the floor and pass my leg behind the arm. That keeps my back and my spine in a straight line. Notice the line of my body. And that means I can stand up with my legs. Now the importance of that means that if, for example, I'm in this position here and my partner puts his weight on me, because I've stood up in a base position, I'm essentially using my legs to stand up, which is more powerful, as opposed to if I'm leaning forward like this and I try to stand up, he just pushes my head flat down again and I'm stuck on the floor and potentially he's punching me. So the last point on this is basically to make sure you lift your bottom off the floor, keep your head up, protect your face at all times, and then pass your leg behind, and then you stand up in a ready position where you can fight back. So to recap, don't sit up in the line of fire. So in other words, don't sit up directly towards their feet, knees or hands. So you sit up in a diagonal line. Now the next point was make sure you create a protective shield, and most importantly, above all else, and the final point, Make sure you pick the right opportunity to stand, but be safe.